Games, board games, board games. It's what we're going to play. Board games to finish off our day. Board games, it's what we're going to play. Board games to finish off our day. Hello! It is lovely to be living. Yes, we are alive, are we not?
My legs are.
Mostly.
And it is Tuesday, and we are trying out some games because it is the Tuesday trials. And tonight we're going to be playing PAPER-ALPHABETICKEll, which still needs a better name, and Puppy Dog Tales, a game by Steve Dee. But first of all, let's introduce the wonderful people that we have around us. We have Jason, the experimental musician and composer.
You said wonderful people. I just thought you were skipping me.
Oh, no, everyone here is wonderful, and we have XATE. Hello, XATE, who makes amazing creations with food, and I've not watched the entirety of the video, but just kind of skimming it, and yeah, that whole pizza, I'm so jealous that for my next birthday, not this year's, but next birthday, I'm going to come over, and yes. You know, you're setting yourself up for high expectations.
Well, if all you're expecting is patchwork pizza, then I think I'm getting off easy. So that's, yeah, we'll do that.
Amazing. And Kath, we've chatted on Sunday about your edible dice, which is Monday. So, how are you right now? I hope you're generally well.
Generally quite well, although a little sleepy, so don't expect too much wit.
And finally, we have Tom Cauldron, creator of Categorickell and no doubt many more games. There's maybe some for the L deck and some nothing to do with the L deck, and maybe some to do with caravans coming soon.
Maybe. Or possibly caterpillars. I may have totally rethemed that.
Oh,
anyway.
So you're changing the theme of that game to be growing your caterpillars, and that could work so well for the very hungry caterpillar. Yeah. Is that what you're thinking? No, actually, that would be terrible.
Absolutely. I think the big IPs, Star Wars, Doctor Who, Very Hungry Caterpillar. I've got them covered. Yeah.
Like it could be a caterpillar eating all these sci-fi characters. I mean, that's
absolutely, yeah.
As they sit on leaves.
They had that in Star Wars, didn't they?
Anyway,
Are you thinking of Dune?
Yeah. No, there is actually one in Star Wars.
So,
there is, yeah.
I swear. Yeah, there is.
Anyway.
Don't do that to me.
They're probably still laughing, Dune.
Bad geek.
Jason, what is something you would like to share about yourself?
About myself? What have I not touched on? I am a massive Doctor Who fan. No, that's been done that. Yeah, huge Doctor Who fan.
How many Doctor Who episodes do you have on DVD?
All that are available. I can't tell you the number off the top of my head because I'm half asleep. But put it this way, I can get that geek point back. I have a spreadsheet where I count what I own, what is missing, what my ratings are, when I've last watched them, when I predict to watch them based on the current trend of my watching them. And within those ratings, I average out the seasons, the Doctors, and overall, and between classic and new.
Wow.
My favourite Doctors aren't necessarily my favourite seasons. I really enjoy Capaldi, but he has one of the lowest rating seasons I have ever seen, in my opinion. But I love.
I concur.
Yeah, such a good Doctor. I
couldn't agree more.
I like Jodie, but she's still her season is still, in my opinion, still better than Capaldi's worse.
Oh, is that the newest Doctor, the one
Yeah.
that's female presenting?
Yes, the one that's broken
Are-
the glass ceiling. That they've
Is
been
that
talking about
available on
since the
DVD
70s.
now?
Yeah, those 2 seasons are available on DVD.
Oh, is it available on Netflix? Do you know?
No, but I think they're on. I think they're on BBC iPlayer.
I think they are, yeah.
Good to watch it.
Oh, some serious Doctor Who spreadsheet
Film in Sheffield.
geekery going on. And XATE, what is something you would like to share about yourself?
I don't know how to compete with that, so I guess I'll just give Jason a heads up. I took a clip from the Dice Tower tonight where Crystal and Eric were making fun of Daleks or something like that, and I put it to a clip of Doctor Who, and it's on my channel if you want to see 20 seconds of weirdness.
I mean, Daleks aren't the greatest enemy of the Doctor, but that's
Oh,
going
it's
to stir some
awesome.
stuff up.
Daleks are a bit...
Do I just have a quick permission to share my screen with this spreadsheet just to demonstrate how nerdy I really am?
Well, you need to click the spreadsheets and then I need to let it in. So just if you want to share your screen, just go ahead. And then I'll let it in when we're all good and ready. Okay.
Okay, let me just make sure it's... Oh, it's jumped. It's loading. So this is my spreadsheet.
Wow.
Let me zoom out.
Oi!
I can't zoom out for some reason because it's on the thing. But as you can see, you've got the Doctor, the season, the story number, the title, a DVD watch. The watch, I have watched them all, but that are available. But I've also so I predict to finish at my current rating when it lets me load on the 11th of February, which is pretty bad. And I've got the averages. This is my watch average. This is the internet. So now here we go. So as you can see, I've got so far my least favourite rated Doctor on episodes was the 12th Doctor, but he's one of my favourite Doctors, and you can see that trend. If you look at the seasons, you see he has the lowest rating season on average, in my opinion, right here.
You got better though.
I don't know why that spreadsheet's not, that graph has suddenly stopped working. I have to sort that out, but not on this here. But yeah, it's been a pretty average middle round for me. Yeah, but that's, and I've also got things like Big Finish I'm building on, and novels and Doctor, Past Doctors, all sorts.
Wow.
So yeah.
I think we can now, accept that you are indeed a Doctor Who geek, if ever there was any doubt.
Wasn't.
Yeah. Sorry to taking the limelight away from you.
It's all good. Kath, what is something
Hello.
you'd like to share about yourself?
Where to begin? Well, we're talking about Doctor Who, so I'm going to carry on that theme. I've been wrestling for some months with trying to work out how to make jelly babies, because I thought it would be really, really cool to make some obviously non-proprietary, but possibly Doctor Who related jelly babies. Maybe a set of 14 or 15 of them. Maybe one might have a scarf. Maybe the rest might not. But it turns out that jelly babies are really quite difficult to make. So that's an ongoing project for me. So
I mean, try a simple shape like a cube, like dice maybe.
Yeah, we've tried. Yeah. No, it's basically getting that lovely crunchy bit on the outside and then the lovely squishy gooey bit on the middle. That would be great, but it's really, really difficult to do. I've managed to make the squishy bit in the middle, but I haven't mastered the crunchy bit on the outside yet. So we're working on that. It's not really a thing about me. That's more just a thing I'm doing. But there we go.
That's pretty cool. Like things to kind of, work towards.
Absolutely, it's an ambition.
Culinary creation universe.
Yes. There's another interesting thing actually about this, which my original plan was to make little TARDISes, because I thought that would be fantastic. Little blue phone boxes as sweets. Perfect. Unfortunately, I thought, it's a phone box. It'll be non-proprietary. That'll be absolutely fine. No. The BBC owns the rights. Who knew? Who knew the BBC owns the rights to police call boxes?
Yeah.
Yes, they do, apparently.
They brought the rights up. so that I could license,
Yeah.
officially license all the TARDISes.
Crazy, but there it is. So that's a thing I learned, which I thought I would share.
Yeah, the world of legal battles and everything. It is a
is.
tricky minefield.
I mean, you can't even make it pink because that's already a thing in Doctor Who.
Is it? I haven't caught up with that. Obviously, I didn't know about pink call boxes.
That's back in the 80s. Bessemer Happiness Patrol.
See, if you were as big a Doctor Who geek as Jason, then you would know this.
I'd have known that. I would, and I'm not.
I can't
Really
help
not.
it.
Yeah,
The
I'm not.
campiest
I've not even
episode
watched
ever.
all the series. I've just
Nope.
like, I started watching the early ones and I was like, yeah, I'm just going to stop watching this. And then I started watching the modern ones and it's nice, but
There's
yeah.
only 57 years of it. In fact, less if you count the gap in the middle.
And the ones they've lost.
Yeah, that too. I don't know how to talk about those.
And hello, Alan. It is lovely to see you there in the chat. And we're just having some introductions and talking about Doctor Who, apparently. And Tom, do you have something about yourself that you would like to share?
I think the world could do without the John Pertwee era of Doctor Who. So keeping on topic, but being controversial as well. I think we should just get straight from Troughton to Baker.
I think that's okay.
But not really something about myself. Something about myself. I own a cat. I live in Yorkshire. I don't know.
And
How coincidental, because a cat just bit my foot.
ooh,
Oh no!
Jason, do you have?
Just malice or trying to get your attention? Just being
Who
a cat.
knows?
Or was it
with cats?
moving in an interesting
could be
way?
both. Could be neither. Could be both. I think. Ow! Yes, and he did it again. If I suddenly disappear, it's because I'm removing him from the room.
Yeah, I'm not. The cats are with the rest of the family. I'm not dealing with that.
That was my mistake. I should have evicted the cat.
Yeah. And yes, Alan.
My cat usually appears on this stream at about 10 o'clock at night.
So,
He's one of my favourite doctors, by the way, Alan.
who is?
Ooh.
John Pertwee.
Pertwee.
Oh, is that the
Pertwee.
same person who also did Words of Gummidge?
Yep.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
The
different.
first time.
I'm not even familiar with. Yeah, Words of Gummidge.
I've got
No.
a
Now, Words of
DVD,
Gummidge were good.
and I've also got a couple of annuals for Words of Gummidge.
Wow, there you go.
Is that sort of Doctor Who adjacent? Because
Yeah, Doctor Who Jason. I found them in a charity shop. I don't
it
actually
had a
go-
Doctor Who in it.
I thought I'll give it a click. I mean, there's some movies I've seen that I would never choose to watch because it had a Doctor Who actor. I thought, and I actually really enjoyed the movie. Like Clone, I would never choose to watch
Yeah.
Clone. It's very weird. It's very weird, but it's actually pretty decent.
Okay, so let us start our first game of the evening, and I think there's 6 of us, presuming it's us 5 plus Alan playing along in the comments. And we're going to be playing a new version of Paper-Alphabetickell. Still needs a better name. But it probably should have the name Alphabetical in there. It should be something alphabetical, I feel. So the way this works is I am going to flip over cards one at a time. They are from the L deck. There's 2 letters on each card, as you all know. And you are going to choose one letter from each card to put down on your bit of paper. Now, if I find... When you've chosen that and written it down, you will then choose the second one. So here you could put if you chose the I here, you would put the H before it because it's got to be in alphabetical order. Here you might put the A before it because it's got to be alphabetical order. But then if you go and put the V at the end, that would be silly when you could put the O. But also it would mean that there's nothing on that line that you can put except for UV, W, X, Y, Z. Now, the trick is that you can skip cards and you can skip lines. But the maximum of how many cards you can skip is 5. And the maximum of how many lines you can have is 5. And once you move to your next line, you can never go back. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right. That's a
Yeah, it's a
development
bit
from last
different. It's
episode.
based on some of Heather's suggestions from last time. And I thought we'd give it a go. When one person's had to either basically they've got to skip a 6th card or go on to a 6th line, essentially it's the same thing, then they lose and everybody else compares how many things they skipped and how many lines they used, and that is your score. The lower score, the better. Does that make sense?
How much of the deck are we using?
Entire deck.
Okay.
I'm expecting someone to lose by the time that we get through the deck.
I'll lose.
I'll race you.
Prepare to be underwhelmed.
I skipped the first 5 cards. I'm sorry.
Okay, so Alan, does that all make sense? Let us know in the comments if you are there.
And I'm allowed to have the alphabet up in front of you.
You are allowed to write down the alphabet just to remind yourself what the alphabet is.
Thank you.
That is a perfectly reasonable thing to do.
Mine's got smiley faces.
Okay, so we're starting off with A or J. Do you want to start your line off with an A, bearing in mind you'd only be able to work in one direction, or do you want to start with a J, which allows you to work in both directions? Yes, Alan, the choice is obvious. A or J is the first card.
Are we starting at the top left, effectively?
So,
of our 5x5
it's the
grid?
first line, so
I
it's
see.
not a 5x5 grid, it's 5 lines.
I see.
And each line can be as big as you want, but
Freeform.
once you've put, each letter can only be on the left
And you can
or the
extend
right
those.
of a line. You can never. So the next card, N or F. N or F. I've gone for FJ. JN might have been the better thing.
No.
Hi, Bilal. It's lovely to see you. And we are just playing a game, so if you want to start in, grab some paper, write FJ, so you can be up to the same point. And now we're choosing E or P. So given that I've got an F, I'm going to put E because I'm skipping literally nothing.
Isn't that a type of personality? EFG or what?
You need 4
There should be
letters.
4 letters, yeah.
4 letters, yeah.
ENFJ,
If you
something
put
like
the
that.
P as
Yeah.
well,
Yeah, it'd be something like that. Ooh.
The next card is the S or the X. And remember, you are allowed to skip letters if you want. And if you skip a letter, just do a little cross to the bottom of your paper. So we are playing paper alphabetical, and the rules of the game are on the bottom. So I had EFJ, and I am not wanting to skip so far as to go to S. So I'm doing my first letter skip. A or W?
Oh.
Okay. I'm just showing you to make sure that everyone's following the rules.
I'm actually using the German alphabet. I hope that's okay.
Isn't the German alphabet identical?
Almost.
A or L?
Hello.
Next one is N or U. That's pretty good. Let me know if you... I think we should say if we're skipping or if we've progressed to a new line.
I'm taking a new line.
Okay.
I skipped earlier at the same time you did.
Something you need to play this game.
I or Q. Okay, I've got the Q at the end. I'm really hoping for...
Gonna go for a new line.
Come on. N or D? Ah, well, I'm on my second line. And now that I'm on my second line, I can never go back. So basically, that is done.
Yeah, same here. I'm going to have to go into a second line.
So you don't count the first line after that.
Yeah, you can never put letters on the first line now.
Oh,
Cannot be used.
I'm skipping that letter.
T or C?
Yay.
T or C? So are all on our second lines, I want to say. Tom, are you on the second line as well?
I am, yes. 3 letters.
G or S?
How inconvenient.
I've skipped that one. That's my third skip.
N or Z? I'm taking this as a Z. I'm doing it. I'm going crazy.
Me too. I like it.
Me too.
Skip.
A or G? Oof.
I'm gonna be. If I put this right, I'm gonna.
We can't duplicate, can we?
No, you cannot duplicate. So I had to go. I had to either skip that or choose put it as an A.
How does
Yeah, that's like.
How does what work?
Me too.
Yeah, I'll
How
take
does
it
the
as
points
A.
work?
It's 1 point per line you've got visible, 1 point per skip.
Well, adds.
And it's lowest score wins.
Yeah, so if you've got 5 lines and 5 skips, that's 10 points. If we
it's
stopped
the
right
lowest
now, I would
score,
have 3 points because I've got 1 skip and 2 lines.
Right.
Same.
I
Not bad.
Yeah, I went the wrong way around. I was going for the highest because I was about to end the game for everyone and go, I win! But no, that didn't work.
No, it's all about the
What was
lowest
the last-
point.
What was the last card? Because I was about to skip it.
Oh, A or G.
It was
I'm so glad I checked.
So after the A or G, which you've got down now, right, Jason?
Yeah, I've got that one under a new line.
It's R or D. Okay. And after that is the T or M. Okay. I'm on my third line with R, same as Alan. S or H. Using my second skip.
why?
How annoying.
S or D.
Oh, come on.
Am I going a tiny bit too
What are
fast?
you doing to us?
Skip.
I'm going to have to skip, which is now my fifth skip.
I'm using my third skip.
Ooh.
Fifth skip.
And I'm using
Me
my
too.
third. E or K. How many lines do you have, Jason?
I'm going to have to start a new line. I'm on my third line.
I'm skipping.
I'm going on to the 4th line in my infinite wisdom.
Feels fair. We'll see what happens.
Not convinced.
E or
Ew.
W.
I don't like this. This is harder than alphabetical
Ew.
itself.
The next one is I or U. I've got my third line. It's going on. I'm
Exactly the same.
IKRTW. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, we do have exactly the same, Tom. Do you have 3 skips as well?
I've got to have a 4th line.
I'm taking a new line.
T or H? I think Tom and I are staying twinsies.
So as soon as someone gets their fifth line, or
As soon as you cannot place on your fifth line, that's the end of the game.
Okay.
R or L?
Ooh.
It's a hill I'm going to have to die on.
Ooh.
I should say I skipped the last card, so I'm on 4 skips.
I've
I'm on
chosen
5
to
skips.
start my 4th line.
I can't skip again. I've only got 5 skips.
5
So
skips
did
are
I.
allowed. 5 lines are allowed.
Same.
Next one. I or C? I see. Do you see?
I see. You see.
I see.
We see the card. R or H?
That's horrible. That's not chill.
Next one. E or M? Ooh, that's perfect.
I am on my 5th line.
You're on your 5th line, did he say, Jason?
Yeah.
5th skip.
I
Wow.
can't skip anymore, and I couldn't place either of those letters on my 4th.
S or C?
They're both as far away from each other.
Yeah, there is a bit of a jump, but I'm going M to S. I'm putting it down.
So am I.
We've
Spooky.
got S or B.
I
Oof.
have to do
Ooh,
that
nice.
one.
If only
I
I'd
have
to.
chosen the C.
I did choose the C.
I did.
I didn't.
We've now differed finally. I have taken out my 4th skip.
Ooh.
So yeah.
Our next one is T or G. Boom. Yes. I like that.
What happens
T.
if you get a run? Do you get
which
extra
one do I
points?
take?
No.
Nice.
Because otherwise that's just luck points, not skill points.
Well, it is very much a game of luck anyway. R or B. Oof.
I can't place
Bad
either,
luck.
and I can't place either. I'm on my 5th line, and I've skipped 5 times.
So that's the end of the game. So you've lost.
I've lost.
So, but we all need to do something with this card.
I can't do anything.
Except for Jason, who goes to 11 points essentially and loses.
Yeah, that's not right.
And so I had to start my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th line, and
Yep.
I
Yeah, likewise.
used 3 skips, so I have 8 points.
Same.
10.
How do I remember?
4 skips and 4 lines.
Kath, you had 10. Tom, you had what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
8.
4 of each.
Oh. We all had 8, and Alan had 9. So it's a 3-way tie, it would seem, which is a bit unsatisfying. But
Who has the
That's
longest
got more
line?
defeat points than the previous version.
yeah, if
I think it should be last person standing.
Yeah,
That'll take
would
forever.
work. No, I don't think it would.
What? Last person standing until you run out the cards.
Everyone's
who
going to
has
fall
the
over
longest-
sooner or later.
Who has the longest line from the people who are left?
so mine is 7. But that's pushing you down one particular direction
Mine's-
because
Yeah, too.
the idea
Yeah.
is that the skips and the lines are fairly equal.
I like the last man standing, personally. I think that would work pretty well. I don't think it would go on for much longer.
I mean, I am on my last line.
It's gonna still end in a tie.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Possibly.
Be interesting to
Try
find
it
out.
Tuesdays.
Should-
Why not give it a shot?
Yeah, shall we carry on on now?
Yeah. Let's do
Okay,
it.
it's O or C. O or C.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
I've put it on my 5th line.
I will start my 5th line.
N or B? Yes. N or B. The next one is O or F. Oof. I'm taking my 4th skip.
Yeah, me too. Why not?
Use my final skip.
A or M. Boom.
That's a good choice.
O or V.
That's got to be a V. Shame. Jason's moved.
I get
Yeah.
to sit between Bez and Kath now. That makes me happy.
I or L.
Oh, I'm out.
Are you out?
Yep, that's it.
Ooh.
I'm on my last line, but I've got 1 skip left.
Same.
A or P.
Got no skips left.
Ooh, that's
no.
a nasty one.
Okay.
It's getting dangerous.
Oh, Tom's done that.
Same, Tom.
I've
Yeah.
We need
chosen
some
to not do
countdown.
it. I or B.
Right.
I'm out.
I'm still playing.
Out.
Wait, so Tom and
Oh.
XATE just
Oh,
lost.
wow.
Is Alan still in?
Yeah.
Are you still in, Alan? Let's us. Wow.
Okay.
Are-
Ooh.
Okay, so O or H? Wow, that's lucky. Do you have exactly the same as me, Alan? HILMNO. H2. So
No.
Nope. Oh.
N or H? Oh no.
Oh dear.
I'm defeated this round. Are you defeated? Oh.
I'm still need a tie break.
So but it did end in with 2 people out of 6 losing at the same time rather than a tie between 3. And very interestingly, Alan, who was on 9
4
points,
letters.
so was actually 4th, ended up joint first or second on your perspective. It's quite interesting how you can change your fortune like that.
Yeah. That was good fun. I like that.
I'm happy to hear. Out of curiosity, let's go round starting with Kath. What did you think?
I really enjoyed it. I think it's a nice, snappy start to a board games evening, and I don't really mind if 2 people tie. I think that's fine. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I shall find my L deck and see if we can have a go at that next time we play here.
Back in a second.
Tom?
I think it was had a nice arc to the game. It sort of had a rising tension at the end when the focus down on 3 people and then 2 people, and yeah, it felt quite nice from this side. I don't know how it felt. I mean, someone knocked out first would have a few minutes to sit there, but I mean, it's only a few minutes, and they get to still join in with the experience. I think.
Yeah.
A bit. I think that works a lot better than the previous version.
Alan Outson says it felt a bit like bingo, and I can definitely see the similarity that there's a fair bit of luck of just, okay, let's mess about and play with what comes out.
It was a bit unfortunate that we were going for exactly the same letters for much of the game. We need to have a bit more possibility of divergence, I think, possibly, but I don't know.
Yeah, something to encourage divergence, or I mean, it's possible that with any, if it's too obvious for the people who are playing, you're always going to end up with people doing exactly the same things at some point.
Well, there's always going to be optimal play styles, but at the same time, I think there's probably enough scope for different opinions that it will diverge quite rapidly. I had exactly the same letters as you for quite a long time, but at some point it went horribly wrong, and so I think it just takes one false move and you go off down a completely different rabbit hole. So yeah.
Jason?
I mean, had I realised that we were playing for less points than more points, because as you can tell, it's a very different strategy at the beginning. But actually,
Yes.
yeah, no, I prefer this version to the other version of Paper Alphabetical. It's much more enjoyable for those who struggle with letter orders.
Oh, that's a great idea. Alan's just said that we could all have different starting letters. That's a really good idea.
Ooh.
Maybe randomly selected from the sort of center of the alphabet somewhere. But yeah, that would be quite good.
I think it should.
Takes a card and picks one letter from there.
Possibly.
Or, yeah, could have.
Yeah,
You
card,
have
yeah.
M,
That would be cool.
You have P. Yeah.
I think maybe you could either. So jumping in, I think either going with Alan's idea, you could either you could have the random letter start, and then what you can do is have a choice whether you want to skip it or not, and it's a free skip. So that way, if you get an actually awful card like B, and you're like, I don't know, what do I do with that one? Sorry to cut over there, Bez.
Would it work if you were to actually deal everybody essentially a joker at the start? So if you were to deal each player one card that they could use once in place of another card that's held up for the group, and use those letters in place of that at a time of their choosing? There's a sort of a joker.
Nice.
You're still on mute, Bez.
You know, you're still muted, Bez.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got 5 letters that you can, maybe multiple jokers, you can use them whenever you want instead of the skips. That would be interesting.
Yeah, that would be quite fun instead of a skip. Yeah.
XATE, what did you think?
I thought I was going to get away with not having to say anything. I'm not the kind of person this game is for.
That's very diplomatic of you.
I would question the word game. It's an activity. It's an activity that is not for me.
That's fair.
We'll have different styles.
Well, thank you everyone for trying it out. And I see we've got a new guest who I'm going to let in, and it is James, who likes games.
Hello! Hello!
Why are you putting on your mask?
I just want to show it off, that's all.
Socially distancing from James. Too many germs now.
Social distancing in action, that is well done.
And it doesn't fuck up the glasses either. It's amazing.
5 of us it was okay, but with 6 we all need masks.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure that the virus has mutated enough to go through webcams, but
Have you never heard of computer viruses?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Prove it hasn't.
Yeah. What about this 5G?
Conspiracy theory starts here.
Yeah.
there you are. Yeah, it's all the.
Oh, ow.
Okay,
Well,
so
it's
let's have
5G
a quick
networking.
intermission for recent highlights, listening to music and seeing the sights. Recent highlights. So, well, I've managed to... I had a bit of a walk last night. I was playing Ingress and destroying someone's triangles. You know, that's what that game's all about. It's going and making the triangles or destroying the triangles. And there's another blue player, they were making the triangles. So that's no good. You want to make it green. So...
Who has cookies?
No, I have horrible chew it.
If you can...
I need to eat up. Do you realize it's rushing so much?
Do remember to mute yourself if you are rattling, please.
Okay.
But yeah, I have been
Children,
listening.
I don't know.
Yeah, these bearded ginger
These
people.
younglings
They're all
these
alike.
days, I don't know. No table manners. It's like having one of those Muppets on there, isn't it? You know what I mean? One of the kids or the cookies. They're also quite fuzzy as well, aren't they?
Now, if I was any Muppets,
So, what do you have any recent highlights, XATE? You're allowed to share things that you've already chatted about in text.
In text? Did I text you about something good?
You said something this morning about playtesting with people.
Oh, yeah, but I mean that's old news. That was yesterday.
Yeah,
I mean,
like
there's been a
yesterday
whole
is
day.
surely recent.
Well, there's been a whole
Pretty
day
recent.
since I was playtesting happily. I mean, today's got a new highlight. Actually, today for the first time since Corona, I had a in real life client. So, client, it's volunteer work, but I go with someone who has social anxiety disorder when she goes to the food bank to get food, but it's been closed for Corona. And while they restructured and figured out a way that they could still help people get their food in a more responsible manner. So today I got to go for the first time. So went on a nice half-hour walk to the food bank with her and was able to, get her food. And they had this huge box of bananas out front that anyone could take. And so I got free bananas for going in real life to talk with someone and accompany them and do something and feel useful to society again. So bananas and usefulness.
bananas would be very good on toast.
Awesome.
I freeze them and make smoothies.
Even better.
And during lockdown, I actually watched a Facebook video on how to eat a banana. Because we've been eating it wrong our entire lives.
Yeah.
To peel it from the kind of the long way rather than peel it down.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was like a whole totally new experience for me.
Monkeys and apes do it better than we do.
Yeah. Well,
these bananas were already so ripe that the peel was kind of off of them.
So, are you meaning basically so you've got the stalk to hold on to, James?
no, you hold it and you kind of open it up like it's a jacket. Got to peel it from the middle.
Yeah.
Why?
Really?
Why? Because then you can eat half of it and then put the peel back again like a little jacket and like nice and cozy in its little bed.
Have you ever eaten half of a banana?
I was going to say, who eats half a banana?
I've probably eaten 2 or 3
I'm
in
not
one
allowed.
go, but
Actually, I do know.
have-
It's children. Children eat half a banana.
yes.
I'm not a child. I'm saying I'm not really allowed bananas because it's high in potassium, and I've got extremely low blood pressure, and it just literally knocks me out if I have.
Oh yes.
So,
yeah.
Which is a shame because I love bananas. My favorite breakfast was chocolate spread on toast with chopped banana.
So
Make
And
a
all
lovely
the things
ice
bad
cream.
for your health out of chocolate spread, toast, and bananas. I would have thought bananas would be the least of them.
I want to share the story of my garden. I had some blackberries that grew in my garden.
Oh, very nice.
And
Yeah,
I took them off and I ate them today. And I was very delighted. And that was the highlight
early.
of my afternoon.
That is really, really early for blackberries.
Yeah.
They're normally, September, maybe end of August. That's some very early varieties of blackberry. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Extremely early.
Wow.
So,
You're
must be
absolutely
very hot
sure they
there,
were
right?
blackberries.
yeah.
Okay, good.
Moving on. Kath, what's your recent highlights?
Oh, my recent highlight is my husband has been working on for want of a better word, a project in our kitchen, which is making some sort of wizard tower out of stuff. And he's finally nearly finished it, which means I can actually use my kitchen again, which is quite important. So I will show you very briefly because it is quite cool, but it's been taking probably 5 months to get to this stage. So this is the finished monument. Well, it's nearly finished. Here we go. This lovely thing. It even comes apart like so and like so, and I won't take it all apart because I'll break it, and then he'll have to do another one, and God forbid. So that's my highlight. It's going away.
Is that for some campaign or something?
Oh, probably, yeah, probably some anything. Moonstone maybe could be. It could be anything. Honestly, I think he just makes these things for fun. He made an entire Necromunda board with all the stacking bits and everything, and put it in the garage. We played maybe half a campaign on it. Put it in the garage, chucked it away.
Oh.
He just does it to annoy me, I swear. But we should probably sell these things, but we have no killer instinct for such things, so there it is.
Alan, sorry, I took a bit of time, but it sounds really good. So there's apparently been a very inspiring webinar just before this, celebrating the first-year anniversary of London National Park City. I don't know what London National Park City is.
No, me neither.
No, I don't. I'd like to know.
I definitely don't know.
But
Tell us.
Sounds good, and I'm glad that you've been inspired by it.
National Park City?
Maybe
No idea.
we should do some live investigation.
Alan, you're faster than Google. Just tell us.
London as a national... Google is your friend, so I will share my screen. Where? There we go. Google search. So apparently, a study has shown that the capital avoids 950 million per year due to the benefits Londoners gain from using green spaces. As a national park city, London will be a city which is greener in the long term than it is today. So London is apparently the world's first national park city. I don't know what this national park
sounds like political propaganda rubbish to me.
Yeah.
I don't. It sounds like they're trying to make it out that we're all green and eco-friendly when actually they haven't changed a single thing in real life.
They planted 2 trees.
So
yeah, they planted a tree maybe.
They're saying it will be greener in the long term than it is today, where we're better connected. So basically, they want to grow more parks and trees.
But what do they mean by green? I mean, are they just going to paint a few houses green? Are they going to plant trees? Are they going to start recycling? There's a lot of options here.
You're all such pessimists.
Good options.
I'm German. What do you expect?
A city which protects the core network of parks and green spaces, and where buildings and public spaces aren't defined only by stone, brick, concrete, glass, and steel. Where buildings and...
My question would be, why are they doing that anyway? Why are they going to make a fuss about it?
Buildings and public spaces aren't defined only by stone, brick, concrete, glass, and steel. I mean, are they saying that there's going to be more wooden houses, or are they saying that these things are going to be defined by parks? It's weird.
I mean, I remember nursery rhymes when I was a kid, and you used to have stone, what was it, sticks, straw, and bricks. Now, I don't really want my houses built out of sticks and straw because wolves come along and blow them down. So I quite like the idea of bricks and concrete.
I think the idea is probably to have more sort of outdoor rooms. So that's quite a big thing at the moment, is actually trying to have spaces in your home that are outdoors. So rather than just having a garden that's a patch of grass to kick a ball around or flowers that you see through your window, actually have it as a livable space that you can use in more than just the height of summer, and maybe just have more of that sort of space, maybe for communal use in the city. I think there's lots of really cool things that could be done along these lines, and sounds really, really worthy, albeit quite political.
Alan says that just under half of London is green space.
Wow.
I mean, I
suppose if you count all the national parks, all the Richmond Park and Hyde Park and St James's and everything, that's quite a large area. That's really interesting.
I think they're counting people's gardens and the bits of trees and bushes that grow by the side of roads and things, which no one really uses green space, but it's just green.
Greenish brown.
I mean, it's...
I think Bez should have Sadiq Khan on a breakfast blebber tomorrow to ask you about it.
Well, it's not really a board game bleder, is it? I mean, how does this relate to board games?
Photosynthesis.
Well, we've increasingly started playing board games outdoors, I have to say. So there is a link there. And actually, during the lockdown, it was incredibly useful because we could actually start inviting people into our space to play board games around a table that we have in the garden when we wouldn't have been able to have them in the house. So we actually got to start a little bit early by doing it that way. So very loosely relates to board games.
Yeah,
I guess one could argue that if you just roll dice rather than have politicians in power, you might get the same result.
Oh, undoubtedly.
Or even better.
Probably a better result, to be honest, by randomly
depends on who
determining what
rolls.
happens.
I'll get a natural 1 every time. So.
And it depends what the results of the dice mean, doesn't it? Surely.
Well, I don't know. Just say yes or no to any question. Like dice decide.
Well,
I
it
think
depends
we've
what
established
questions
that
you're
doesn't
asking.
work
If
well.
you say, if your question is, should I do terrible thing A? Should I do terrible thing B? Should I do terrible thing C? And then you go through 1,000 terrible things. Statistically, that means you're going to do half the terrible things.
Yep. Well, I think that's pretty much how
that's what
democracy
governments
works,
do
isn't it?
anyway. Except for they just
Pretty
lie
much.
about it.
Yeah, and if in doubt, you just call a referendum and ask people whether they want A or B, because obviously there's only 2 options, and that'll sort it all out.
Anyway, maybe
we're
we've
meandering
gotten
into
a little
politics.
bit too tangential. This is meant to be about recent highlights, and it is good that you have been invigorated, and I think that it's important to stay positive about these things and be like, yeah, there is some efforts to basically have more wildlife and have more stuff going on. And as Alan says, yay for London.
Yay for London.
Yeah. Yay for London.
Tom, talking about Sheffield, another great city,
Yes.
what is a recent highlight of you?
Oh, I had a nice walk the other day. What day is it today? It's Tuesday, isn't it? So it'd be Sunday that went for a walk. Polly and I went through the sort of light industrial area near our house, which was nice and quite interesting. Seeing nature reclaiming wasteland, and yeah, it's just nice to be out and about.
Sounds
And we did see some blackberries which were nearly ready, so I believe you about the blackberries.
Wow.
And we've got some Sheffield support.
Oh.
And just for anyone wondering, we have unfortunately lost Jason because of technical issues. But that is just the way it happens sometimes. And last but certainly not least, James.
Hello.
What is a recent highlight of yours?
Hello.
Well, I'm going to keep it PG. So we'll have some food-related highlights. And I had for the first time in my life a mango snow cone.
Ooh,
which was very nice.
Ooh. Yum.
So they kind of had this kind of like mango sort of frozen mango cream ice cream thing, and they shredded it into little pieces and put it in a big cone, and then some mango on top. It was actually very delicious.
That sounds lovely.
And then the other day I picked out and had a whole cheese bake to myself, which wasn't healthy, but I quite enjoyed it. And I made some fantastic beef ribs on Sunday. Oh my god, they were lovely.
Beef what?
So it's beef ribs, like
oh yeah,
short ribs. Yeah.
Sort of
So-
with a bit of a glaze on, with a bit of sauce, maybe.
I put a little bit of a wet glaze on top and stuck them in a bag with some onions, tomatoes, and peppers, and about 5 hours on a slow cook, and they just fell off really. And yeah, I mean those were things I still miss even today, 2 days later. But yeah, that was really nice.
Yeah, yay for good quality food, and you take a bit of time. You kind of prepare it. You look forward to it, and I find that recently I've just been going quite often for the quick snacks, which are great. And sometimes, you know, when you've got blackberries or homegrown raspberries, because I've got a raspberry bush that this year, I only planted it this year, it's given me 3 raspberries.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, it started off this big, literally, and now it's, you know, so big that Chris kind of used one of the pallets that I had outside the house to kind of make a bit of a rig around the fence so that now it can climb around.
Oh, lovely.
It's really
beautiful.
grown.
Yeah, raspberries will
Can be a bit
they will grow.
Yeah.
Yay for food.
Yay for food.
Now, I think let's move on to our next game, which is Puppy Dog Tales, Puppy dog tales. I'm singing a song about puppy dog tales. It's not really about puppy dog tales. I'm just singing the name Puppy Dog Tales. We are now playing Puppy Dog Tales, where a human has to work out what stories the puppies want. So what's going to happen is that a human is going to turn the sound off, do something like that, and then we will all talk, and then we'll flash up a message on screen saying we are ready now, and then the human starts telling the story. The puppies will all bark excitedly whenever something is correct. But the human along the way has to think, okay, these are the bits that the puppies are enjoying, and so maybe along the way you need to continue telling the story, and everything you say has to become part of this messed up story. But we're going to make a small change to Steve Dee's original rules, because I think given that there's 6 of us, we're going to have 2 humans, possibly.
Interesting.
Can I be a human, please, Bez, or am I something else?
You can be a
I
human
want to
if
be a
you
dog.
want.
I want to be a puppy. I want to be a puppy.
You want to be a puppy? Okay.
Yeah.
Does anyone else care?
This is the highlight of my day. This is.
No, we already did highlights. Lights too late.
Oh no.
Okay.
If I get to be a human, I can have 3 minutes while I can go and get a glass of wine.
Turn the sound off, or take your headphones out, and don't put on the headphones until it says "come back in." Okay.
Okay. All right. Bye then.
Okay.
So Tom's a human.
Bye.
And let's have a second human. Kath, are you happy to be a human as well?
I also would love a glass of wine, so yes. I'll take that.
Get yourself
Bye.
a wee thing, and don't put your headphones in until it says "come back."
I will.
No.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Some of the humans.
So
all 3 of us are the little puppies.
we've got 4 puppies. Yep, that's exactly right.
Who's the 4th puppy?
Alan.
Oh, Alan's a puppy. Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, there is.
Is Alan house trained? Do you think? Be on this game.
That's Does anyone have an idea for story? I'm thinking Beauty and the Beast.
Which one is which? Am I the Beast or the Beauty, Bez?
No.
I'm the beauty.
No, they basically just come back in, and then they start telling the story, alternating between the 2 of them, and then we share. So, would you know that story, right, James? XATE, Alan?
Roughly. I don't really know.
I know it very well. Story of my life, Bez.
Aww.
Okay, so when Kath's there, we'll tell them to come back in.
Yeah. It got a little dark here because I had to move to my power cord, and there's not a real good light here.
Hello.
So.
Oh, Alan, if you don't know what it was, then you
Too late.
Sorry, we can't say again because Tom's here. I mean, maybe you could enjoy the. You can enjoy the game from the human perspective, Alan. You can try and work out what it says. You can still play along. You're a human now, Alan. So, hello, Kath. So basically, the way it's going to go, Tom and Kath alternate telling stories and carry on the story that each other is saying, and when it's something that we like, then we will bark. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Woof woof.
No.
Bark.
Yes was good.
Bark.
Bark.
Bark, bark. Okay. Tom, would you like to start?
Oh, go on then. Would you all you little puppies like a story?
Woof woof.
Woof,
No,
woof,
apparently not. I don't like a
woof.
story. Okay, well, yeah, good. How about a story about a man and a woman
Woof, 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 woof.
going
Woof, woof, woof.
and their
Woof,
friends
woof, woof, woof.
going on an adventure in or not on an adventure, just having a difficult time, but getting through it
Having some food.
in space.
Staying at home.
Woof, 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 woof.
They're staying at home or they're going to space?
Woof, woof,
Staying at
woof,
home.
woof.
Which one?
Oh, a woman who stay at home. I
Okay.
know some stories about that.
Hmm.
They loved each other very much. This sounds like a very different sort of story, doesn't it? But there was somebody who was very nasty, who wanted to do nasty things to their family or to. But let's ignore that.
No, they didn't. That didn't
mean,
happen.
People that didn't happen. No, they lived in a lovely land where nobody was nasty to them.
Except they all had to
Kath, why
wear
don't you tell them
masks.
what happened next?
I think maybe they all had to wear masks for some reason. And did they have they had a pet cat? These people, they had a pet cat and a goldfish and some birds and a lovely garden. And they had a lovely garden. And one day they went out into the garden and they planted a tree. And they had a picnic under that tree once it was fully grown, which only took an hour. And from the tree, they picked some blackberries and they ate the blackberries with their picnic. And then they ran around the garden. They ran around. They also had a dog, by the way, and they ran around the garden with their dog. This is really not working, is it? And then they went back inside their house and they cooked the dinner and they ate the dinner. Oh, the dinner. Right, the dinner is good. Okay. Tag.
This man and woman were very unusual.
Oh.
They were very unusual. They were unusually tall and blue. It's not Avatar.
Just to let you know, I can't hear Tom perfectly. I don't know if anyone else is having trouble hearing Tom.
I can hear him.
Can you hear him, XATE and James?
I can hear him, but
Yes,
he's buzzing,
yes.
I think.
Okay.
Or someone's buzzing.
Okay, Alan Outson says Tom sounds great. It's just, I don't know what's come between us, Tom. It's really sad.
It's me and James.
The internet.
Hmm.
The internet came between us.
You just have to rely on Satan and James to bark at the right time.
Yeah, I don't know the story well enough. So
Wait, please carry on.
Oh, my wine has arrived. Excellent.
So these people. So what's arrived?
My wine.
Have you got a delivery?
Yes.
Right.
I have this empty glass and the wine has just arrived. Oh, wine. They really like the sound of that. Okay, great. So the people had some wine, and the wine was good. I've read the Gruffalo a few times, and it was magical wine, and it stopped them from being blue. So let's just leave that well alone. So, was there meat for dinner? Were they? I think they might have been cooking a steak. They were cooking a steak, and it was delicious. Okay, it seems to be a very food-oriented puppy, doesn't it? No, not a food-oriented puppy. Interesting. Oh, this is puzzling, isn't it? Did they have a lovely sleep? Did the people go to bed and have a lovely sleep? Okay, good. I'm glad that's popular.
All of this happened a very long time ago.
Oh,
Woof.
excellent.
People lived in castles,
Yeah.
but yeah,
These people lived in a castle?
Woof.
Mm.
oh yeah,
And they wore
yeah.
crowns?
You don't want to hear about ordinary peasants.
No. Puppy dogs don't like peasants. Okay. They were in Europe somewhere. And right. They wore crowns because they were the king and queen, as it happened. Possibly relevantly, or possibly not. Seemingly not. Ooh. He owned a big sword, and it hung upon his wall above his fireplace for some reason.
Woof.
Woof.
But then
Not elfin.
animals started talking to them.
Ooh.
But it turned out they'd just been eating a bad mushroom, so it wasn't actually animals talking.
I'm not sure storytellers are meant to backtrack quite as much as we have, but hey, there's always a way back. Okay. Sorry, distracted storyteller here.
They had a lovely house and lots of money, and people loved them, but they wished they had some children. So they signed a deal whereby someone would provide them with lots of children in some unspecified way.
It's a fairy tale classic.
For money. Hang on.
Or beans, possibly magic beans.
Magic beans.
Yes.
Magic beans or children is what they wanted.
They also had a farm in their town, which they loved to visit sometimes, but not in this story. You start. You're not helping.
And
Meow. It's not relevant, is it?
and they decided to go traveling to find their heart's desire. So they went to sea and caught a fish, and it was a talking fish, and it said, "No, what you really need to find is back at your house." So they went home.
The house, I think the house was made of bricks, probably. It was probably made of bricks. Yeah, probably some other houses in the neighbourhood that might have been made of other materials, conceivably, such as straw and sticks. No, okay, but worth a try.
Meanwhile,
back in the garden,
there was a storm, and it blew off their roof, and everything was getting wet. So they all had to rush around and ask all the townsfolk to help them to save their precious things.
And they quickly rebuilt the roof out of gingerbread.
So everyone rallied.
Nope.
Can I prefer this story to the one they're supposed to be telling?
Oh dear.
I think we may have gone off track.
I feel we may have gone very off-piste here. What else could it be?
Yes.
I mean, is there a caterpillar involved? Some
I've tried talking animals several times.
Yeah, it hasn't really worked, has it? Perhaps there were some very short people living nearby. Some quite small people involved, I would say. I mean, there were, but that's not relevant to this story. Ooh, gosh, they're very picky, these puppies, aren't they? I think they should really. I think they should just listen to the thing that they're being told and appreciate it
Absolutely.
in all its glory.
Quality storytelling here. It's got everything.
Oh, really? I think we've pretty much touched on every story ever told, except obviously for one, whatever that may be.
I think so, yeah.
Do you want to give up or shall I keep going?
I think I'd happily give up or keep going with a clue, but I think I'm lost in a world of make believe that is not the one.
What clue should we give them, Bez?
I've been trying. They just don't look at me.
Oh no! It's because you're very dark. Oh.
What about?
Was there an owl?
Is it the story of Princess Anne?
Yeah, I think that's
a princess. Wait. There's more. There's a book. There was a book. There was a book.
Woof woof.
Oh.
Okay, I'll give you a clue. There's a rose.
There's what? I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
A rose.
A rose.
Oh, I was going for a rose earlier. Rose. Was it an edible rose? They had an edible rose. No. Oh dear Lord. Oh, I think I know. The man and the woman. One of them was under a magical enchantment of some sort. Oh, and was quite hairy. There may have been some property crime involved as well, I feel. Okay. Are you with me, Tom? I shall tell on, and you can chime in as and when you are. Okay, brilliant. So the man and the woman,
I don't know.
who may or may not have been under a magical enchantment, they lived together in a very large and very grand house with a beautiful rose garden. There's the garden, right? Got it. And at some point, the woman in question, who was quite a looker, she pinched a rose out of the garden, and she brought it back inside. We're looking for Beauty and the Beast, I think, here, aren't we?
Oh yes.
Brilliant. Oh, that's challenging. Okay, great.
Congratulations.
That's quite difficult, but really fun.
Shall we have another go with different humans?
It's hard to keep track of where you come with your story.
Can I be a human this time?
Better humans, please.
I'd like to be a human.
I'd like to be a human.
There we go. Nominate humans. Goodbye, humans.
So I guess I'm round 3 then, by myself.
You will.
Oh, you can be a human as well if you want.
No.
You can have a third go. I think we should have a third go, and because I'm really enjoying this. This is brilliant.
Yeah, so I'm going to take out my headphones. I'm going to just mute the computer.
What do I do, Bez?
Also take out
turn off the volume.
Yeah, mute.
What can we do when we want you back in? Put
something in private chat, type in the private chat.
We'll just type in comments, maybe.
Oh, it's off now. I can't hear anything.
That's good news. Can you hear this?
I can't hear you. So when you are ready, can you just give me a sign or something?
Okay, great.
Okay.
Thumbs up. Is that ready to go?
Right.
So
this is where we have to hope they can't lip read. I'm sure.
So we've got to get the film.
I'm just going to hold my hand in front of my lips, and now they can't read it. Yeah.
Okay, so we need to come up with a kind of a classic story then.
But a kind of hard one because this is Bez, so...
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
I think we won't be so easy.
We won't go for a fairy story this time. We'll go for something a little bit more interesting.
Okay.
What about the Lord of the Rings?
No, that's not available.
Oh, isn't it?
According to something I heard.
Okay.
We're supposed to avoid that. So,
okay. What are the rules then?
That's the only rule that I know, but I saw that one in chat earlier. So.
Oh, that one's specifically out, just literally that, nothing else. Okay, cool. It's a bit epic, to be fair. We need something a bit simpler. What about a children's story? What about like?
Do you know the Giving Tree?
No, I don't. No, I don't.
Oh, that would
What about the Tiger Who Came to Tea? That's quite a classic.
I don't know that one.
Don't know the Tiger Who Came to Tea. What about? Unfortunately, I've already touched on the Gruffalo and the Very Hungry Caterpillar, which is a shame. Peter Rabbit.
I don't think I know that one either.
Okay.
What about the Velveteen Rabbit? If we're doing rabbits.
Yeah, that's a little more obscure here as well. That's the problem. I don't know that one. I have children and a vast library, and I don't think I've ever read it, so that could be tricky. Oh yeah, good, very good question.
Yeah, we should probably ask that first.
Any story, right? Okay. So what about
Hungry Caterpillar.
What about
yes,
Good Night?
I do quite like that.
Not a lot of events. Very one note, isn't it?
Yeah, a little, but in a fun way. Yeah, something like that. Something really, really sort of for very small children. What else do my children like? That's Not My Dinosaur.
I don't know that one. Oh, Alan has some suggestions. Alan would like to suggest Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Oh, what a good idea! Yes, or it's quite a complex story, but I think that could
We
work.
can do that one. I actually know that one.
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, we can do this. Let's do that.
Okay.
It's a really good one.
Alan, we've got you.
So it's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory in this.
Yeah.
In this. Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
Shall I invite them back in?
Yes. Come, join us. Join us. Join us.
I'm back now.
Woof.
Are we back in the room? Are we going to come back in?
Arf, arf.
You are clear. Woof.
Oh, right, lovely. So
I'm afraid
So it's just me.
that.
So it's me and Bez is the humans.
Arf.
Okay.
I think I might be
You
an
wanna start,
alien
Bez, or-
instead of a dog. Like,
Did we just start, or
Bez
do
is
you
still
want to
muted.
start? Bez, you're
Bez-
still muted, but your microphone's still.
Sorry
quiet.
about that. Thanks. Yeah, it was just to avoid me making noises while I was out. Let's say that once upon a time, there were some humans,
Arf.
arf.
and these humans went about their business in a
What?
village. This village was really big. It was so big that it was a city. In fact, it was so big that it was like a space colony. It was like a planet full of villages. It was an entire planet covered with people. James.
And in this massive space colony full of people, there were castles and tiny little mushroom houses and tree houses and underwater villages under the sea, maybe. Or there were also fields and beaches and jungles
This
and
planet had so many things going on, and some of the people were really having a good time together and loving. But then there were other people, on the same planet who were fighting, and maybe they were at war. But because it's a big planet, elsewhere on the planet there were just people who were just going about their everyday business
Arf.
and trying to make the best of the world in which they lived.
Woof.
Arf. Arf.
James.
And then one day, a member of the royal family came to visit. No, okay, and he
wasn't
didn't
a
come to
fast
visit
visit.
the club. No, it wasn't a visit. It wasn't a visit.
Like
And
they
it
came
wasn't-
for
it
a
wasn't-
very brief tea and then they just went off.
Exactly. And then a magical creature come along as well.
pop came out of nothing.
And then plop disappeared again. And and then out of nowhere comes some talking animals, which just happened to appear. And the talking animals then went back into where they came from as well. So it was a very strange day, all in all, where not happened, even though strange things happened.
And everyone was like, "Why is all these things happening and then stopping happening? I mean, why are all these things happening to me?" And the person was saying, "Hey,
it was caused by a rift in time and space, wasn't it? By some strange intergalactic things happening there, or maybe it wasn't."
There was lots of aliens. I mean, ultimately, everything was being controlled by the aliens, who, but the aliens maybe aren't what we're going to be focusing on for this story. It was just about walking along, trying to ignore the fact that all these strange things had happened the previous day. A little boy walks along with a little girl. And
this little boy, was he made of wood by any chance? Made of wood, maybe?
But
no.
The little boy was who was a real human boy, because I mean, I don't know the history of this boy. Maybe they had been made out of wood a long time ago and then they had turned into a real boy. But regardless, the point is they were a real boy now. And that's what matters. They were a real boy.
And they could
with real
fly
human
as well,
emotions.
couldn't they? And they could fly, or some days they couldn't, and that was a shame for them.
In fact, it was every day that they couldn't. But they just wished. Sometimes they wished they could fly. Sometimes they wished that they had special powers, and they really wanted lots of things that they didn't have.
Like magic beans, for example. No. Okay.
They didn't really want anything magic. They just wanted to be a better person. They wanted a better job. They wanted a better life.
They wanted to look after a sick or elderly relative. What are we barking to now?
James?
Looking after a sick or elderly relative? Sick? Elderly?
Yeah, there was a lot of.
Was it
boy
the
had
boy's grandmother
many
by any chance?
sick old relatives.
Yeah.
And it was unfortunate how much illness there was in the world. But everyone wanted. It was really just a strong amount of work to just try and make everyone get better and get healthy.
And was it an elderly grandmother that they were trying to look after? No, it wasn't. Oh. And did this grandmother have quite big eyes, all the better to see you with?
I mean, the grandmother did have eyes as big as a human. And this grandmother had a nose as big as a human. And because the grandmother, in fact, was a human.
And not a wicked witch at all, was she? She wasn't a wicked witch. She was definitely just a normal human.
Arf.
And it was really, this little boy was taking so much time to care for their grandmother, who had a hand as big as a human hand. And an elbow as big.
And she lived in a little cottage, didn't she? She lived in a little cottage made out of gingerbread. But that was eaten, so then she moved somewhere else.
Yeah, they had a little side project with this cottage, 10 years ago. But then they decided to make this gingerbread cottage, but then that was like a side pact. So they were like, okay, let's try and make this cottage as good as we can. But then the grandmother got sick, And the grandmother got sick quite a few years ago. It because it was a grandmother, and it was only a grandmother that was just sick and so sad. No, but sometimes the grandmother was quite happy despite their sickness. They tried to make the best of life. And it was about positivity. It was about connecting with their grandchild. Their grandchild who had teeth as big as human teeth.
And he had an umbrella and short trousers, and he could walk to school very happily by himself without a nanny. Without a nanny. Or did he have a nanny, maybe?
This little boy found a balloon. Maybe a red balloon. But then the balloon flew away because the balloon said, you know what, I don't like to associate with people who are humans. I want to go off and fly away and enjoy the other balloons.
And then one day he walked past the chocolate factory.
And the chocolate factory had little people who had hands smaller than a human hand.
They would sing and dance. Oh, I think I know what's going on now.
And there were several people who went into this chocolate factory.
Never to be seen again.
Mysterious murders in...
This was a chocolate factory that did not have a good hygiene rating.
People fell into the rivers of chocolate.
They polluted the soda streams. Yes.
Yes, these terrible children ravaged the edibles and disobeyed the owner of the chocolate factory.
Woof, woof.
This owner of the chocolate factory who had a neck as big as a human neck. And shoes as big as human shoes.
But he also owned a fantastic great glass elevator, didn't he, in this factory?
Arf.
Yes, he did. Yes.
Indeed.
And the little boy, his name was a colloquial term for Charles, wasn't he?
Arf.
Yes, yeah.
And in the end, there was no cat.
Arf.
Because it was all about Charlie and the great glass elevator.
Which was the sequel to
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Oh, excellent.
We got there.
What fun.
I think that was
awesome.
good.
That was really good. Yep.
That was good.
That was really
Very
fun. I think that having two humans does actually really improve it. Do you remember when we played before, Tom?
Yes, I think it's tricky.
He's blotted it out.
I think I was very bad at that game.
My knowledge of stories that involve boys and grandparents is obviously quite full on. I've got extensive knowledge of those kind of stories.
I must admit, when I was the human, I did find that my brain was going exclusively down the fairy story route, and I just wasn't thinking about anything else, which doesn't explain how we missed Beauty and the Beast. But nevertheless, that's definitely where my brain was going. But I think having played it a couple of times, a lot more sort of idea of the scope and what we're looking for and how to do it. And therefore I can probably be more creative if I do it again. I can be a bit more in the storytelling and less in the what on earth's going on.
I think the nice thing about two people storytelling is that you can it does take a lot more energy as a human, So I think one person as human is way too much. I almost wonder if there should be 3 humans.
Tricky to
I think.
Yeah, I think 3 humans and 1 dog, maybe.
Yeah, I think a couple of puppies is good because that gives you sort of multiple cues and you've got multiple people to be watching. But I do think maybe more shift the balance more in favour of the humans and away from the puppies because you need other people's creativity to bounce off of when you dry up. You know, you do get those points where you just think, I've got no idea what to say here. And then it's really handy to be able to...
3 is too many.
Bez doesn't dry up. Bez just... Go on.
Yeah. I think 3 is too many. I think 1 or 2, but I think, yeah.
Let's do it. XATE, would you like to be a human?
I think I'm a human.
So who's most keen to be a human again?
Can I have Alan out?
Well, if Alan joins us on camera, Alan is very welcome to join us on camera.
Oh, we don't play with the chat? Okay.
Well, Alan can be a human.
Do I get to pick my human from my co-human from the selection of co-humans available to me currently?
Yes, you can. Yeah, that's your privilege.
Sure.
Okay, I would like to draft Kath.
Yes. So, thank you. I've been drafted. I really like being drafted.
Yes, you're #1 draft pick because we both do foodie board gamey stuff, and I feel like that's got to work.
Let me know. Alan, would you like to just? So I think there's 2 ways that chat can play along. Either chat, you can woof along to suggestions, or you can mute yourself and be a human. Maybe not storytelling, but kind of guessing and giving hints to the humans.
That'd be a really great idea. Yeah. Yeah, we can read along to any suggestions you make and vocalize them.
I mean, Alan, if you are happy to turn your sound off, we can let you know, and then you can make suggestions to people. Okay, awesome.
Yes, please.
All right, so we're going off until you say to come back?
Okay.
What's the plan, Bez? What's the plan?
What?
So we are going to flag up a big banner when they need to come back. They need to have their sounds off, and they're just going to be not listening.
We'll just hang around.
And
you can still hear us. Turn the sound off.
Right.
Can I remind you that I don't have the same culture as you guys? So don't do something really British because I have no
this could be a challenge. Yeah, do something very international. That would be.
Just saying.
Okay.
Hi.
Okay. Okay. I mean, we could do a big Hollywood film.
Good. So Disney or something?
No, we had Disney. I think we could do something like Star Trek.
I mean, oof.
No, that's not going to work.
Ooh, how about Lion Witch and the Wardrobe?
Well, that's a good one. I like that. That's got lots of characters in it, lots of different things.
So specifically that one book, right?
Okay, just Lion Witch the Wardrobe. Yeah, sure.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Now, we have decided. So, hopefully, get your sound on, and I think that once.
Okay,
Kath's gone to sleep. Kath's gone to sleep. She's gone into a coma. Come here.
Hey, Alan.
Okay.
All right, I can read Alan.
Okay.
Okay. So once upon a time, a very long time ago, is not when the story started. The story started much closer to now, in the present tense. There was a man and a woman and some children.
And a child.
But the children are really what we're focusing on today. The These children were a very special type of children. They were interested in many things. Some of their interests included adventuring.
Woof.
They enjoyed foreign cultures, foreign foods.
Woof, 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 woof.
They enjoyed furniture.
Woof.
Woof, woof, woof.
They enjoyed being heroic.
Woof.
Woof, woof.
These children were slightly mischievous, but they had the best of intentions. Usually.
They did have the best of intentions. That's good news.
Usually. And I would say some of their family members weren't quite as convinced that they were good children. And maybe would have preferred these children be a little bit more quiet and play somewhere farther away.
But generally their family loved them very much.
Of course, they loved them very much.
Oh, maybe they didn't. Always. Sometimes they didn't. Sometimes their family were quite unkind to them, actually.
The children couldn't feel the love. I mean, it's hard, the generational conflicts between the elderly and the children. But we don't want to question the love. We're going to just believe it was there, whether or not we know about it. So Catherine, would you like to tell us some more about the children's adventures? You don't want?
Oh, me? Sorry.
Yeah, I feel like
I was hoping the puppies would do it, but it sounds like they can't speak, so I'll do it. The children were not really meant to venture very far from their cottage. They were generally meant to stay relatively close to home. Those were the rules. However, they were occasionally prone to disobedience and liked to go off on adventures on their own. There were perhaps the children were a boy and a girl. And another girl. Oh, another boy. Oh, so there were two boys and a girl. Oh, only one
and
girl.
And another girl as well. We shouldn't forget the youngest.
Well, maybe to be honest, it's very difficult to keep account, but I think there might have been actually more than 4 children, if memory serves the storyteller well. Or maybe it was exactly 4 children. 2 boys and 2 girls.
I think you're trying to consider all of their vast friends as other children, but I don't believe that all of their friends were also children. They were all sorts of beings. I believe they were friends even with animals.
They lived through a very difficult time in human history.
Definitely.
And there was in fact a great and terrible event that occurred during their lifetimes. A great war, perhaps. During which time they took a great journey on a train to a large house in the country.
Where they could explore their love for furniture even further.
Exactly. Became very closely acquainted with one particular piece of furniture.
It was a very big, very beautiful, very old wooden. Alan, come on, throw it up there. Throw the word in. Come on, Alan, we're waiting for you. You're on our team.
It's Alan.
What did they find? They found a very big, beautiful
large wooden
and they decided to explore further past the fur coats into the very back of this wardrobe. But it didn't end. It just kept going and going and going into the snowy wilderness beyond, and many, many adventures. Book and book and book and book after book of adventures, filling the time of the war and their childhoods, showing us how they grew from young children all the way up to almost mature young adults.
Yeah, all the way
where
up
they
to
became kings
adults.
and queens, adventurers, horrible people who redeemed themselves, and wonderful people who became even more wonderful, all together in Alan. In the story of
The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Yeah.
Hooray! Good job, guys. Oh, that's super fun. I think we shall add that to our repertoire. That game, it's really enjoyable.
So I think I got it a little too quickly. I tried to back off again to give it time to evolve.
You did. I can't remember exactly what it was you said. There was something you said in the queue.
I said children and they love furniture, and Beth started going. I was like, yeah,
furniture was quite key. Yeah, that was quite important. But 2 boys and 2 girls, that's really quite specific.
There's not many.
But that's
I
great.
for some reason
That's a
thought
great
there were
game.
5 of them, and then I thought, hang on a second.
Yeah, that is really nice work by Steve. I think you do need to know each other just about well enough to know that people will know the thing. And the nice thing about 2 people going out is that at least one of you will know that story.
Yeah, that's really. I like that.
You can't get too specific. But the interesting thing is that even if we just stuck to fairy tales, it would still be actually quite challenging.
Oh yeah. Actually, in a way, within one genre, you're not sort of rambling around so much at the start, and you've got a more sort of focused area. You're likely to have a boy and a girl. You're likely to have a cottage. You're likely to have some sort of misfortune, and you can narrow it down a little bit. But actually, going out into the whole of literature and film is really fun. It's a whole world of possibilities, and there are enough things out there that everybody knows. I think that we can play around with. I think as 5 relative strangers, we could play this game all night. It'd be absolutely fine.
Do you think it would benefit from having narrowing it down at the start, like with Gerard, like you say it's a book and a film or something at the start before you get into the game, just to put people on the right track? Do you think that would help or hinder it?
Well, officially, you're meant to say the style of thing. So if I flash up the rules, which you can get from tinstargames.com.
We're just not doing that.
Puppy Dog Tales. There we go. So this is how the rules are written at tinstargames.com by Steve Dee. And so you are meant to choose the type of story. Last time we played it as written, but I think that just kind of leaving it open. I did not think that it was Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I thought there was something really gritty realism about someone just trying to become a better human or something.
Their normal lives.
They do. It is gritty realism, actually, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah.
Roald Dahl does tend to really go for the meaner side of human
No, but
life.
you know what I mean? I thought it was more a realistic story. Something like, I don't know, American Beauty. Or...
How is that not realistic? How else are you supposed to acquire a chocolate factory? I mean, that's standard for the industry. I mean, I get it.
Alan Mouton makes this point. I kind of feel like if you start saying, oh, it's a book, I mean, that's not in the spirit of the game. You want to just kind of keep building more things into the story and have a weirder story.
Yeah, I agree.
I think what you're saying is it like charades, when you kind of take it through at a time. But yeah, I'm not sure. Because it is a very close thought process, isn't it?
Yeah, I think charades differs in the fact that you are just trying to get to the answer. There's not that creativity involved. This seems like it's got a bit of whimsy and a bit of fun with because you don't actually just stop when people know the answer.
Yeah,
you carry on a little, and there's more playfulness, I think.
Yeah, and it's not just 20 questions of, oh, is there a sick grandmother? Oh, is there a little boy? Oh, are there animals? And talking. And so it's not just asking a bunch of yes or no questions. You've got having to ask them in a storytelling manner is definitely part of the game. And I really enjoyed
that's quite
that.
hard. I think that's quite hard to actually do. I found that quite hard to incorporate a story rather than ask questions.
It is more
Like,
challenging.
just with
But you
what
can.
you said, James, like when you said, okay, the people came in and then they flew away again, and it was just a really weird day. I mean, that makes it.
It's really funny. Yeah, it does. And but I think it's optional. That's the nice thing. I think somebody who's perhaps not so much up for the storytelling aspect can still play. They can still get involved. They just contribute in a slightly different way. Especially if you've got somebody who's a really good storyteller and who's really sort of hot on the entertainment side, then everybody else feeds into them, and it works very well, actually. And I guess that's where two humans comes in. It means that somebody can act as a foil to the primary storyteller and throw in the odd gag here and there and the odd idea, and that's really good.
I think I would prefer not to have a co-human. I was feeling pressure to stop talking and give you a chance, and I didn't know had you got where I was going or not, and because I was pretty sure I was on to something, and I'm like, well, I need to stop talking now. She needs to do some.
No, don't. That's the thing with having a co-human. You need to cooperate.
You chose a co-human.
Yeah, you picked me, therefore you were primary human. You were the principal human.
Shall we do one last thing? I mean, one last round of this, or shall we finish up for tonight? How are people feeling?
I might need to pop off soon, Bez. So.
Pardon?
I might need to pop off soon, so I'm going to call it a night. Okay.
I'm about ready for going.
What did Tom say?
I'm about ready for going as well.
Okay.
So I'd like to wrap up.
Well, it's been
another day.
Lovely having you. I think the question is, do you think that you would like to play this again? I'm wondering, is this a Thursday night game? I would like to see the usual rating scale for absolutely, yes, no opinion, no, and definitely not. So if everyone could vote from +2 to -2 on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, vote. XATE, I can't see your fists. Are they 0?
Oh. I can't get them to go in front of the camera. There we go.
It's really hard, isn't it?
There we go.
So we've got 1, 1, 1, 2, and 2. Awesome. And Alan, let us know, how is it best to incorporate the people watching? Because that is also a worry that I have. Did it work to say that you are a human and you turn your sound off, but you're kind of guessing along and giving hints to XATE and Kath? Let us know how that was for you. Good to hear. Now, this is the time when wrapping up. Let me. If you have enjoyed this, then please check us out. There are links which you can find on the YouTube or Facebook, or I will just go in and copy all the links right now, or don't know if those will work. So we've got XATE, the purveyor of you don't really purvey anything.
What does purvey mean?
Oh.
I'm not sure what a purvey is.
I thought
I'm definitely a bit of a purveyor.
Yes,
I thought
Purveyor.
purveyor was offering for money.
Oh, that's what you mean by that. I thought you were talking about something else.
Yeah, I was like, well.
Yes.
Maybe I don't want to be a purveyor.
Purveyors of one sort.
Are we already on to the questionable part of the evening? Or?
And if you we have some amazing videos of
I don't really do much.
We'll cook for board games. I want to know more about this chocolate chess set. Are these real pieces on top of chocolate cake?
Those are chocolate pieces on top of. That was for a friend's birthday party. I made a 3-course edible board game birthday party. And
how did you make the pieces?
I bought a silicone mold. So It's just a mold. You make two halves and then you just melt them together with chocolate. And I put the candle coming out of the king's head. And I made 2 cakes. I would do it differently if it wasn't for that group of people. But one of the people had a food allergy, so I made 2 cakes that were separate and cut them and stuck them together with like wax paper between, so that she could take the pieces she wasn't allergic to without being afraid. Otherwise, I would just make 1 cake and do the top as a chessboard. But for that, I wanted her to be able to eat along. And we ended up using that to make a gameplay variant, because then we played chess and we played with, when you capture an opponent's piece, you can choose to either remove their piece from the board, or you can eat the square they were on, but they get to go back to their starting position.
Ooh, interesting.
But then there's a hole in the board.
I
like this.
That's cool.
So you kind of have to cut it really precisely and take it out.
Well, it was already cut because it was 2 cakes put together. So you could just lift it up on the wax paper.
Chess with booby-trapped.
Awesome.
Okay, I like that.
Yes. Yeah. And so, of course, if you landed on one of the pieces, the squares that was no longer existing, your piece just fell into the void and died. So you had to work around that, make sure you could always move to get past that space.
And
we only played 2 rounds, though, because we really wanted to keep eating.
You've got this patchwork pizza from Patchwork Doodle.
That was 2 days ago, yeah. We played Patchwork Pizza.
Is it exactly the same rules as Patchwork Doodle?
Yes. I got the cards from... I just made my own set of the cards, and we used the jokers in the game. You have the 1 square block that you can add in, which you see the wooden block. You have the neighbor, so you can use the card next to the one that the pawn is on. So I took the figures from the Grizzled Armistice, because they're our neighbors, the French soldiers. And then the scissors that we'd already used at this point in the clip were if you wanted to use just part of the shape to cover your pizza. And then you have the reuse or recycle option to reuse one of the jokers another time. So I have the candles that I made out of upcycled bike parts to symbolize the recycled joker, which I'm using in that clip.
That is spectacular.
And we were both able to get a 9x9 grid, so I think we both played pretty well. And we were both very happy about that, because pizza without toppings is just not as nice. So.
And I've just linked to Tom Cauldron's things, and thank you very much for all the how to play videos for many L games, and doing the Houses of Knowledge as well, who's also based in Manchester, Tom?
Yeah, Sheffield, yes.
Yeah, Red Squares on Twitter. And
that one to fruition.
If you want to check that out, we've got Catherine from Honey Badger Games. There we go. That's it. That thing.
Oh dear. And of course it breaks. There we go. Brilliant.
And
that's me.
Very cool.
Finally, if you want to check me out, then I should actually do my YouTube as well.
Stuff by Bez.
No, my I want. So yep, I'm Stuff by Bez everywhere except for Facebook, and if you can go onto the YouTube and follow me there as well, follow everyone. That would be awesome.
And you can find me on OkCupid.
And on that note,
I like to finish off, if we may, with a little thing that we're looking forward to. I am looking forward to having a good night's sleep and a daily hope and ambition. I mean, you know what? I'm going to try to get out very quickly for a bit of a quick walk/jog, and I'm going to smash some more triangles whilst playing Ingress. Do you have any? And Alan Outson says, Dave subscribes to everyone, including you, James.
I haven't seen his match come up yet. I'll have to do another scroll for that one. Maybe I swiped the wrong side for Alan. I swiped left for Alan.
So what are people looking forward to if you are able to share? Kath?
I'm able to share. I can share. I am really looking forward to having a day off tomorrow because we talked about this before, about not working 7 days a week and that being quite a good idea. So I'm going to have a day off tomorrow and I'm going to take my children to the park and I'm going to do a jigsaw puzzle and some other worthy parenty things. So that would be really lovely.
Nice.
And I guess that's in itself just being a quality mum is that your...
Just being a mum who isn't locked in a kitchen trying to make things out of sugar. That would be, I think that's probably all that's really required of me. So going to the park and yeah, maybe a couple of gamey, puzzly sort of things. Yeah, and a bit of spending time together.
Anyone else want to share anything?
Yeah, I'll share something. So after I swiped right for Alan, I've been looking forward to a hot, steamy day, and that'll be the highlight of my week. And I'll tell you all about it next Tuesday when I'm back online.
Can't wait.
That's actually my thing I'm looking forward to the most is hearing about the date that they have.
Yeah, I'm going.
Can we also get pictures, please?
Oh, you want some pictures? Oh, that'll be. This isn't that sort of show, unfortunately. You have to go to the After Dark version of the Games by Bears, I think.
When's that broadcast? I want to know.
Directly after this.
Log off.
It's when everybody is asleep, which means literally never.
Ah.
Right.
So
I need to be off though, but thanks for tonight. I've got another call coming in.
It's lovely
Yeah, have a
seeing
good
you,
one.
James, and have a good night, James. Sleep
Have a
well.
good night. Night, night.
Good night, James.
Bye.
Bye.
I've just posted a couple of links. So the first one is to the Wibble++ game design contest, which if
Woohoo!
I go to that stream,
Yes.
yeah, it's all about making a game. Do you want to talk about? Don't talk about your game, but how is it? It's basically just make a game, do something for the L deck, and if you don't have an L deck, well, you should really have one and get one, and yeah, basically.
Great.
Think of a game for it, even if it's not the best game. Go to this form and fill it out. And if it's a game that I am able to play, I will at least give you feedback and spend a lot of time because I really want to cultivate the community to be making games for it. That's ultimately what I want to do. And we've got a previous winner, Tom Cauldron. How was it for you? Can you speak of your experience?
Me. It was great. It was great. It's just nice to have a platform to put your creativity on. There's so many possibilities with that deck that's still unexplored. So yeah, just go for it. Do something with it. It's brilliant. It was
I've actually been having fun with it, even though I don't like it.
And yeah, everyone, I think game design is a thing that can be for everyone. And so, yeah, whether you're a wee kid or someone who's played loads of games, or indeed someone who is a game designer and is like, yeah, of course I can make games. Well, make a game with this deck. If you're a practice game designer and you've already got tons of stuff out, well, then maybe you can come up with a quick idea in half an hour. Give it a ponder, type it up, or maybe do a video, whichever one is easier for you, and away you go. The other thing is,
even if you're still enter this competition. Right?
best day in a bind photo competition. Just take a photo of yourselves playing in a bind or indeed Yogi. That's also allowed. And if you don't have a thing, then it's not clickable because I'm not seeing it as a normal person, but if you follow that link, it does take you to the free print and play, which is a mixture of stuff from Innerbind Yogi and Yogi Guru. And so, yeah, that is something that you can grab, do something interesting with a photo, and hopefully it will be funny. We will enjoy your photos later on. But that is going, best day is on 31st of July, 1st August, and 2nd August. We're having some streams. I believe I meant to invite everyone here. You're all invited to come and play in a bond at 2 p.m. on one of those days, or to come on later and share your Inner Bind stories. And I am going to be streaming tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., which is the usual time, with Sally Jones, about making hats out of cards, because that is what Sally Jones does.
Yeah.
Do you know Sally as well, Catherine?
I do. She's fantastic. She's a real live wire. She's great.
Yeah. Do you know Sally XATE?
She's great.
I've never heard of her.
Sally Jones. Oh my gosh.
She's a bit of a legend.
Okay. Well, I hope I can be there tomorrow morning, but someone said that they were coming by tomorrow to get their things, so I don't know if I'll be here.
Well, this is, all about Sally Jones, who makes card hair clips, earrings out of D20s, everlasting flowers out of stuff. You can see the sorts of things they're making.
Well, her flowers are way better than the ones I used to. I also did flowers from a book for my wedding bouquet and everything, but those are so much cooler than ours.
Amazing.
Oh my word.
I think she's a classic example of somebody who is her own best product. Actually, her products are really cool, but she is somebody who is her personality really sells the products.
And
Very nice.
I had a bigger bouquet, and these were then around like all the napkins, and the people had them on their shirts and things.
But those are really cute and delicate. I like them.
Cute. Very cute.
Yeah.
Well, there is, I think, only one thing left to do.
Sing!
And that one thing left to do is to say bye.
Bye bye.
Oh, wait, does anyone have any last song things they want to say, or are we good? Okay. Bye, 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 bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye, 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 bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye, 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 bye. This is the end of the show. Bye, 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 bye. And now it's time to go. Bye, 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 bye. This is the goodbye song. Bye, 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 bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye, 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 bye. This is the end of the show. Bye, 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 bye. And now it's time to go.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.